Alright, so here we got crossbars, item number 41482. We're going to demonstrate how to install it on a vehicle. On top of that, we're going to demonstrate how you're going to check on if it fits or not. Okay? So you can see the parts here. You're going to have two of these crossbars, set of keys, the end cap which goes at the end of each side. You're going to have a hex key and you're going to have a 10mm wrench. These weather strip here, basically after you have this item installed, you're going to cut it to measure and you're going to tuck it in to where the gaps are. This prevents the whistling while you're driving at high speed. Okay, so first thing to check when you measure your vehicle, in order to check, you're going to measure from the left rail to the right rail. If you can see here, this one measures about 42 inches, which means it's going to fit. These bars should fit up to 48 inches. So if you measure your rails within 48 inches, it'll fit. Also, the rails need to have this gap here. If you don't have this gap here, the crossbar is not going to be able to grip onto it. So if it's a flush type, it's not going to work. You got to make sure you have this raised area here on the rails. Okay. So first off, you get the crossbars, go ahead and take off the cap, insert the key, lift it up from the bottom at the angle, it should come right off. Take it off on both sides, and if you can look in here, you're gonna see there's a 10mm bolt, and then there's a hex head right here. What you're gonna do first is loosen up this 10mm bolt so that you can slide these down, up and down the rail. This hex key here, what it does, it's going to loosen these up. This is what you're going to use to clamp onto the rails. So once both sides are loose, we'll go ahead and install it onto the vehicle. We'll place it right in there, and then you're going to place this side on there. Okay. Find out where you want to locate it to. The bar should be able to slide back and forth here. So the first thing you want to do is make sure that these are pressed up against the rails. Once they're up against the rail, you can go ahead and tighten up this 10mm bolt in here. So the first step is to tighten the 10mm bolt. This prevents the clamping mechanism to slide back and forth. So you want to keep it tight before you tighten up the hex key. Okay. So once it's tight, you're gonna go do the same thing to the other side. So once you have this side on, you can see there's a gap. So you make sure you have this pressed up against the rails. Okay. Once you have it up against the rails, also keep in mind the distance that these bars are. If you want it, keep it even to the vehicle. Pay attention to that if you wanted to relocate it or adjust it. Okay, so once we have this tight on here, the bar shouldn't be able to slide back and forth anymore. The next step is to tighten up this hex key here. This will grip onto the bars. Do it as tight as you want. The tighter the better. Okay, they're tight on it now. You can see they're pretty tight on here. And the last thing you gotta do is put the cap on. So let me show you how to put the cap on. This cap will not fit if you just place it on the outside like this. So the little tab inside has to insert in first into the groove. Then you can slide the bottom part in and lock it in. That keeps it from locked. And that's pretty much how you install it. The last thing you would do, put the weather strip at the bottom, and that's about it. Signing off.